Welcome to the Fibonacci Module. In the year 1170, there was a mathematician born in Pisa whose name was Leonardo Pisano, who later became known by his nickname Fibonacci. At a young age, Leonardo studied mathematics in Bugia, and during his travels, he learned about the Hindu Arabic numerical system. In 1202, he wrote a book called Book of Abacus. In the Book of Abacus, he described the numerical series that was named after him called the Fibonacci sequence. In the Fibonacci sequence of numbers, each number after the 0 and 1 is the sum of the two prior numbers. The sequence is as follows: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, 377, and so on to infinity. Each number is approximately 1.618 times greater than the preceding number. If we look here as a quick example, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 5, 8, 8 plus 13, 21, 21 plus 34 is 55, so forth and so on. 1.618 is also referred to as the golden ratio or phi. Most of us are familiar with 0.618 because it's the inverse of 1.618. The Fibonacci golden ratio of 61.8% comes from dividing the number in the Fibonacci sequence by the number that follows. Mysteriously, this golden ratio appears often in nature, architecture, biology, and in fine art. Examples of this can be seen in Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, the Parthenon in Greece, mollusk shells, sunflowers, tree branches, rose petals, ancient Greek vases, the spiral galaxies of outer space, and even in the human face. An example of that is 89 divided by 144 equals 0.618. Another one is 89 divided by 233 equals 0.3819, which is equivalent to 38.2%, which is found by dividing the Fibonacci sequence by the number two places to the right. Another popular ratio in the Fibonacci level is 23.6%, which you get from dividing a number in the Fibonacci sequence by the number three places to the right. 89 divided by 377 equals 0.2360. Okay, let's start by drawing our fib. The first thing that I like to do before I draw a fib line is get the fractal points. The fractal points help us identify reversals in trends, and it'll help us depict where the top, the swing high, and the swing low is located to accurately put our fib level in the correct placement. So what I like to do is I'll go to these indicators here and I'll just type in fractal. It's called Williams fractal. You click on that, X out this box, and now you see these little triangles on the top, these green triangles, along with these red triangles here at the bottom. As you zoom in, it'll give you a little bit better view of what those triangles look like. Then I'm going to click here on my toolbar. I'm going to go down here to Fib Retracement. And I want to basically, on this move here, is map out Bitcoin's entire move from January to the end of the year 2017. So this was the peak of 2017. And right here is going to be the low right here of January 9th. So you can see the fractal right in there. So this here is the textbook Fibonacci sequence, which is 0.236, 0.382, and 0.618. However, we like to use a couple of different fib levels that have proven to work very, very successfully in retracements and finding entry points. And some of those are, my favorite is 0.50. So if you go to the settings wheel and you click on style, you'll have three settings up here: coordinates, visibility, and style. If you go to the style here and you click on, check that box here, and if your box does not have 0.50, you can just type in there 0.50. Let's take a look at that. So 0.50 is not known in the Fibonacci, it's not in the Fibonacci sequence, but there's two different types of studies that use the 0.50. The WD Gans and the Dow theory both use the 0.50 fib level, as well as I do. I personally have seen the 0.50 fib hit on a retracement more than the 618. 618 is a key level retracement, but when you're dealing with these high volatility coins in a fast paced environment and you want to secure a good entry level for a retracement, I find that 0.50 has been a very successful retracement point where I can feel confident that I could get my order filled with more confidence than I am a 0.618 fib level. Now, again, this is my personal opinion. This is what's worked for me. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use the 0.50 fib level. There is another one that's very popular as well, which is the 786. So if you click on here 786 and you click OK, you will see the 7186 here on your screen now. Now, with the next one here, this one here, 886, has been known to be used by institutional big investors for the best value within a coin. So when something has retraced 88%, generally you'll see accumulation happen inside of these levels before the next move up. So I like to add these to my fib so that I have a good idea of not only what institutions are looking at for value, but also helps me to understand the way they think and the way they move, and be able to study whenever it hits 0.886. It's very interesting to me to see the accumulation begin in those levels before a reversal. It's happened many, many times in the past, and it's very interesting to have these levels within your settings. You don't necessarily have to play them, but some people do like to trade off of 0.886. I, however, like I mentioned before, like 0.50, 618, and 786. Now, if you go back here to the settings wheel, I want to show you a couple of different things that you can do. If you click on coordinates, coordinates basically is giving you the price that you have. If we go back here to the fib, right here you see the 19891, and you see it right here under price 1. Price 2 is 711, and you have it here 711. When you don't have the magnet in place, sometimes it's hard to get the exact level of what you want. So in the event that you wanted to get an exact level, and let's just say you wanted $710 and not $711, all you need to do is go in there and type in 7.00 and then hit OK. And now you will notice that this number inside of these parentheses says $700 exactly, and this bar is adjusted accordingly. Now let's look at this level here. This level here is 1838. Let's see what happens when we enter 1838 into this box and click OK. You notice how the bottom here now adjusted and moved up to the price of $1,838. So this is basically what the coordinates are there for. I'm going to go ahead and just push this right back here to the swing low of the year, which was at right about $700 was actually the fractal. And I can just open up the chart just slightly and go right on the bottom of that wick, which is actually 734. Now another feature that you can use is going to be the placement of where you want these numbers to be displayed. So if you click on the settings wheel, you click on style, and you move the box up here, you will see that the labels currently are set to the right. You could put them to center, click OK, and you will now see these numbers here in the center of the box. Or you can click left, then click OK, and now you see the labels here on the left. Now, many of you might ask, why is this so important? Well, this helps in visualizing what those numbers are in the event that you have an overlay fib inside of a fib. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I take another fib and I want to measure basically this move here. So coming off of the swing high, this is our swing low, and the very next swing high would be right here. I can now take this fib, extend it right there, and now you see where the labels are overlapped over each other, and it makes it very difficult to understand what these numbers on the second fib study is going to be. So what I can do here is click on right, click OK, and now I have the numbers in my second fib study here to the right, my original to the left, and this way it allows me to clearly see what those levels are and what we're looking at. Another thing you can do is sometimes the default labels on here are set inversed. So if you click on here, these numbers now are 886 on top and 236 at the bottom. But typically, when we measure retracements, we want it the other way around. So what we do here was just click on reverse, and it brings them down to the area of the study that we're looking for. Click OK, and there you have it. Okay guys, let's run an example of how BTC respects the Fibonacci sequence. Here we have a run on Bitcoin, and you can see here from the price action, here was the low, and we had a nice move to the upside. So based on the fractals that we talked about earlier, let's go ahead and start measuring each one of these impulse moves that Bitcoin did from this point here, from this swing low to this swing high here. If we take our Fibonacci tool and we put it right above the fractal, and we bring it right down here at the tip of that wick, you can see here that the price action reversed here, stopped here for this swing high, and then you can see where it retraced and it hit 618. Now it left a shadow, but at one point we know that this shadow was a full bar. So had we sold here and put our order here, based on this wick here, more than likely, depending on the size of the order and the demand, we would have gotten filled. Now leaving this here, let's go ahead and then let's measure this next move up. So we can see here that this was a swing low and it came down and touched the 618 and it stopped right here before retracing right here. So let's measure that move now. Bring this down here, right to that low, and look at where this wick hits. This wick hits 0.50. It did not hit 618, but it went pretty close to it, but yet if we put an order on 618, we would not have gotten filled. Had we put an order on 0.50, the likelihood of getting filled would have been much greater. Again, depending on your size order. Now here, the price action reversed and it had another impulse up, then coming back down and retracing here. Let's go ahead and measure that move. Here, as I mentioned before, the price had another impulse up here, topped out here, came down, and it landed right on 618 both times. Well, it landed on this one here. Next candlestick opened here. You can see where the price continued to come down, but the bulls were able to take control and reverse the price action and continue on to this move here. Now, here we retraced. We didn't quite pass the previous swing high, so this momentum is still part of the retracement move since this peak here was not able to pass the previous swing high. This momentum is still considered a retracement. So if we measure that retracement down to right here, you can see here where the price action again reversed here, topped out here, came down to 382, tried to do another move up, but as you can see here, didn't quite pass the previous swing high and continued to come down for a full correction of 0.618. So as you can see from 4 of these studies, 3 out of the 4 hit 618, but 4 out of the 4 hit 0.50. So if you are in a situation where you have a lot of coins running at the same time and you're day trading, putting your order at 0.50, you can see here based on these 4 studies that you would have gotten filled every single time. Now, 3 out of 4 is not bad. And yes, you do maximize a little bit more of your profit, but in a uptrend market, in my opinion, getting filled for that next move up is a little bit more important than trying to catch a very small percentage on this downward correction. Retracement, better said. So it really is up to the individual trader and what his trading plan is and where he is satisfied in getting filled for that next move up. Now let's run this exercise here on this price action on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see how this move here retraced to here, continued to here, retraced to here, and so forth. And let's see how well the Fibonacci sequence was respected. Measure it to right there, which would be the bottom of the wick. You can see here that this move created a fractal right here. The price action started to retrace, and look how perfect it lands on 382. This 382, 236, 618 are part of the Fibonacci sequence. Now, once it retraced here, it continued for another move here. Another fractal indicates that the price had a turn in momentum and corrected here. So now we've established a new swing low and a new swing high and a retracement. So let's measure that point. Now on this move here, you can see where 618, which is part of the Fibonacci sequence, was respected perfectly. Now on this move here, we had a reversal. This here, even though it did not pass it by much, it technically is our new swing high, since this price reversed higher than the previous swing high. So if we move our indicator over here, and we measure this move being our new bottom, you will see here how this move here was retraced and fell right on 786, dipped a little below it, came in within the 0.886 reversal, and another fractal here is created. The reversal of trend happens right here, and now we have our new swing high here. So let's continue with this exercise and creating the top of our swing high, the bottom here of our swing low, and again we retraced right here perfectly to 886. The reversal of trend happens once more here. Now on this one here, since this one is below the previous swing high, again, this is not considered a retracement since this is part of the same move. However, once we passed here, you can see where Bitcoin went on a pretty good bull run on this price action here. Now keep in mind that these are 4-hour candles. You don't see much of a retracement here. But let's go ahead and measure this move here. If we measure this move here, and this being our low, because this swing high did not go above this previous swing high, we will now measure this as our swing low. As you can see here, even though it did not have a proper correction, it still came down and managed to touch 0.236, which is inside the Fibonacci sequence. However, when playing a move like this and looking at this here, let me go ahead and just pinch this just a little bit to get a little bit more real estate on here. Whenever I see a move like this and I see proper retracement levels here, then I see a move to the upside like this here, I don't generally apply a fib level on these small moves. For me, this swing low here represents a bottom of this complete move to the upside. Once we create a new swing high here, and we clearly see a reversal here, to me, this would be a proper retracement from this swing high to this swing low. Now, let's put a fib on it, see what it looks like. Here to right here. Actually, I'm sorry, it's to right here because remember, this was not our swing high. This was our swing high. So this will be our swing low. Now let me explain this. Remember when we had the fib here, this fractal here was still underneath this swing high. So since they did not go above it, it's still part of this move here. So I will be putting the fib on this swing low to this swing high, and look at this. How perfectly it hits 618. This is the type of stuff that just really, no matter how many times you do this, it just amazes you on how well the Fibonacci sequence is respected. Even on the move back up, look at the way price action resists right at 382, then becomes support, then becomes support again, comes back down, and then moves back up here to 236, resistance, support, support, and then takes off again. It's just really amazing to see how well this Fibonacci sequence really correlates with the price action of not only Bitcoin, but almost anything in the market. Remember that Fibonacci sequence is not only for crypto, but it's used and it's been in use in the stock market and in anything that has a price action that we can chart. We can definitely incorporate the Fibonacci sequence as a retracement measurement or retracement study.